Well, in recent years, we've all watched with horror and amusement, but mostly horror, as American politics has begun more and more to resemble a trashy daytime talk show from the 90s. It's the Springerification of the political scene. Last week, we took another giant leap in that direction thanks to a public beef that broke out between CNN pundit Michael Eric Dyson and Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace. It began several days earlier when Mace was berated during a CNN segment for mispronouncing Kamala Harris's name. Let's watch that moment again.
That sounds like self-hatred and justification of white supremacy. And let me just say this, because this Congresswoman is a wonderful human being, but when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say, I just said you weren't a racist.
That is complete
No, you don't have to intend racism to accomplish
you are intending that
Your
I'm
disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris
that
is part and parcel of a tradition of disrespect.
It's offensive,
Congresswoman,
and it's
why can't you just?
offensive.
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm
No,
telling you what the practice is
You
racist.
are. You absolutely are.
No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor,
this gentleman said,
you know what?
I didn't know her name.
Disgusting
He's
to
trying
women
to do
is
it.
her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
White women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is to tell them they're not real women.
25
They
years
care
ago,
for your babies
25 years
and
ago,
respected
I
your
became
humanity.
the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina. I
So call
fought
her
my
name
way
right.
through it.
So pronounce her name
blood,
right.
sweat,
Let
and
me
tears.
actually
So pronounce her name
and
right.
Kamala Harris, if
Kamala.
I were a man,
You said
I
it
will
don't call
say
you Nancy
anything that
Mace.
I want.
It's
Come on,
Kamala.
it's Kamala.
You're doing this on purpose, Congresswoman.
That's disrespectful.
Just a second.
You can't expect people to
If
respect
a
your
man
service
put on
if
a
you don't
skirt
respect
and walked
hers.
that stage 25 years ago, she
You're a
would have
white
said
woman
she would have
disrespecting a
taken
black
that
woman. That is
achievement away from
problematic.
women.
I agree.
So not exactly a clash of intellectual heavyweights. Michael Eric Dyson was calling Nancy Mace racist. Nancy Mace was denying that she was racist by pointing out that she was the first woman to graduate from the Military College of South Carolina, or whatever she said. Classic case of a Republican trying to defeat a racism charge by throwing her own victim points at it, which is a maneuver that never works and certainly didn't work here. We all thought that was the end of the feud between Nancy and Michael, or at least we hoped that whether it was the end or not, it would be the last time we had to hear about it. But late last week during a congressional hearing, Mace submitted text messages that she received from Dyson into the congressional record. And these were text messages sent by Dyson to Mace after that heated argument you just heard. Here's Fox News explaining the context for this revelation from Mace. Quote, Mace entered the text into the congressional record on Thursday as part of a discussion pointing out Democrats who have also mispronounced Harris's first name. Some of the vice president's backers have suggested her opponents deliberately say her name wrong. It's pronounced Kamala, not Kamala, as a subtle form of racism. Now, why was any of the taxpayers' time in Congress being spent on that at all? Why were they in Congress talking about how to pronounce Kamala Harris's name? I have no idea. It isn't explained in the article, and I don't care enough to Google it any further. Instead, let's just play the clip. Here it is.
Like to also enter into the record a screenshot of a text message I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Michael Eric Dyson, after my CNN interview, begged me for photos. In this text, he says, after calling me racist on CNN, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji.
Without
then
objection.
the guy
Order.
says I'm gorgeous in all these photos. I don't think he's that bent out of shape on how anyone pronounces Kamala.
Nancy Mace then tweeted the screenshot of the text exchange, and as you can see in the screenshot, Dyson sent Mace the photos with a comment that said, shh, don't tell anybody we look good together, laughing emoji, kissing emoji. She responded, ha, 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 ha. Then Dyson said, well, your gorgeousness makes the photos, so there's that. Then there's a smiley, like a blushing emoji. Now, we should note a few things here. Dyson is a married man, first of all. He's now on his third marriage, according to his Wikipedia, and there's no indications that he plans to stop at 3. Second, Dyson is 65 years old and using kissy emojis in text messages. It is not appropriate for a grown man to use emojis of any kind. As I've explained many times, emojis are for women and children. But a kissy emoji is the most egregious one of all. It's so bad that sending a kissy emoji should create a crisis in your marriage, even if you send it to your own wife. How can your wife respect a man who sends kissy emojis? And, of course, sending them to a woman who is not your wife only makes the situation worse, significantly worse, even. Listen up, folks. We talk a big game about traditional values, but how many of us are actually walking the walk when it comes to prayer? Let's be honest with ourselves for a moment. Most of us are about as consistent with our prayer life as Congress is with balancing the budget. We've all been there. Prayer feels so daunting to get started. We end up not doing it at all. We make excuses. I'm too busy. I don't know how. I'll do it tomorrow. List goes on. Enter Hallow, the #1 prayer and meditation app. And they're starting a new series called How to Pray. Here's the deal. 2 weeks, daily sessions, no fluff, with guided prayers being led by guests like Mark Wahlberg and Jonathan Rumi. You'll learn how to pray with scripture while getting familiar with prayers that have been around in church history for centuries. They've got everything from prayers to help your kids navigate the chaos of a new school year to prayers for athletes looking to up their mental game. Look, whether you're a prayer novice or a seasoned pro, Hallow's got something for you. Who knows? You might even become a slightly less annoying person to be around. Miracles do happen. So do yourself a favor. Put down the remote, close Twitter, and download Hallow at hallow.com/Matt Walsh for an exclusive 3-month free trial. That's hallow.com/Matt Walsh for an exclusive 3-month free trial of all 10,000 plus prayers and meditations. Third, the fact that this text exchange occurred only hours after these two were screaming at each other on cable news should not be seen as a positive sign that the two sides can put their differences aside or whatever. Instead, it should tell you that the vast majority of the seemingly contentious political bickering you see on TV is fake. It's all performance. These people are the political equivalent of professional wrestlers, or at least they were. But now Michael Eric Dyson really does hate Nancy Mace. He was fuming in an Instagram video when he responded to Mace's allegations, and he responded to them by confirming them and then digging the hole even deeper. So I want you to watch as he tries to explain the context of these texts. Watch.
This is the text exchange. I sent her, Abby Phillip, the host of the show, suggested we take pictures. I said, let's take a picture. Abby said, when you post it, then tag me too, and then we'll have fun. Because the whole point was two bipolar opposites. Michael Eric Dyson on one side, Nancy Mace on the other. So I sent her and she said, great pick. And I said, shh, don't tell anybody. We look good together, with a laughing face and a kissy face. And my point was, shh, don't tell anybody, because we are bipolar opposites. You're on one side of the spectrum and I'm on the other side of the spectrum. And she said, ha, 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 ha.
Notice how he tries to breeze past the kissy face situation. There's a laughing face and a kissy face. Anyway, my point was, hang on, what was that back up on the kissy face? You sent the kissy face. Why did you, how old are you? Why did you send a kissy face? Why is that even in your, I don't even know where to find the kissy face emoji, even if I wanted to send one. And then he repeatedly declares that he's the bipolar opposite of Nancy Mace. This man's a college professor who uses the phrase bipolar opposite, apparently unaware that the correct term is polar opposite. Bipolar opposite would mean that you both suffer from bipolar disorder in opposite ways, which I have no doubt is true, but I don't think that you meant to say that, Michael. Let's just continue for some reason.
And I said, well, your gorgeousness makes the photo, so there's that. And a little smiley face. Again, I'm just saying that trying to be nice to her in the belief and the effort that if I'm nice to her and I prove that we don't have any bitter consequences from our fracas on television, that we can be relatively kind to each other, and I'm being nice to her. These are other people that I interacted with recently, my friends, some of them. My friend Allison, I said, nice, you look gorgeous. Look out, Texas, here she comes, talking about that. Nell Painter, a world-renowned historian, on her Instagram, I posted, after she posted about she's a Mary Ellen von der Heyden Fellow in Letters of the American Academy in Berlin,
in public, I said gorgeous and brilliant all at once. A heart with a face that's smiling with hearts, and a kissy face, right? I said, keep up the great work. Then there is my friend Terry, who I was giving tickets to for the Democratic National Convention. I said, you know I can if I will. Everybody and their mama want these tickets for today. You look gorgeous as always. Well, I congratulated her on the interview she did with Kamala Harris. And then on another interview, saying people of color are eating cats, that's racism. I was quoting her. I said, thank you, Dana Bash. Besides being brilliant and courageous, you also look gorgeous. And then I put a power hand and a smiley, a face with hearts. I ain't hitting on Nancy Mace.
Okay, so he's sending the smiley face with hearts and a kissy face. What does a smiley face with hearts look like? I'm trying to find it on my... Oh, that... Okay, so it's a blushing smiley face with hearts floating around. This is what a 65-year-old man is sending people. Is anyone else outraged by that alone? I'm the only one left. I'm the only man left in America who understands the problem with emojis. Like, every day, it's another man who I thought was on my side on this. I get a text message, and there's an emoji. 10 years ago, there were no men sending emojis, not a single one. And now they all do. It doesn't matter how old they are. The boomers are doing it. They're the worst offenders. So, anyway, just to review, this man is offering all of this information willingly in defense of himself. His defense is that he's constantly sending kissy face emojis to his female colleagues and calling them gorgeous. So that's his defense, is that he does it all the time. He flirts with lots of women, which means he's not really flirting with this woman. That appears to be his excuse. But you seem to be confused, Michael. You're only proving that you're a creepy, weird old man, which proves Nancy Mace's point. It doesn't refute it. And I say that, by the way, as someone who, in the past has been very critical of the excesses of the Me Too movement. And there have been many cases of men whose careers were destroyed for innocuous jokes or innocent, if perhaps awkward compliments. But sending kissy faces to women you aren't married to and calling them gorgeous is quite obviously well outside the bounds of what would be considered appropriate. There's never a scenario where a married man should be texting women who aren't his wife and calling them gorgeous, especially not with smiley faces and hearts floating around them. Though again, he shouldn't be sending the smiley face and heart to anyone at all. So Dyson has only further implicated himself here. He's proved the opposite of what he presumably set out to prove. Most of all, he's proved again that political discourse in this country is dominated by weird creeps who are also, and we cannot state this strongly enough, very, very dumb. And that is why Michael Eric Dyson is today canceled. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.